Good morning, Lorcana fans. We're here in Atlanta, Georgia for the first ever Disney Lorcana Challenge. I'm Tannon Grayson, I'll be your host all weekend long. We've got a great crew with us here this weekend, so we'll be bringing you all the action all day long. Now, we have 2 days of competition here. First day, we've got just under 2,000 players that are going to be playing best of 2, and the top 64 of those are going to make it onto day 2, and then maybe into the top 8, we're going to be trying to take home one of those gold serialized Mickeys. So without further ado, I'm going to sit on down to the caster's desk, and let's get this adventure started.
Hey everyone.
Hey, so thanks, Tannon, for passing it off to us. I could not be more excited to be here today. This is the first ever Disney Lorcana Challenge here in North America. Here in Atlanta, Georgia, there's a ton of people here today, which honestly kind of blows my mind. I'm so excited to see all the people that are here as well. For those of you that don't know, my name is Bolen. I'm joined here by Kozma. Liam, what are you most excited about for today and for this weekend?
I mean, I think you already captured what I'm most excited about. Of course, I'm excited to see great gameplay. I'm excited to see Lorcana cards on the table, people going head-to-head, battling it out. But honestly, what I'm excited for more than anything else is the community. I have gotten to see so many people that I know from across the Lorcana community, from Ravensburger, the team behind the game, here together, sharing this wonderful game, love for cards, love for Disney, and it's just fantastic, and I love every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty phenomenal, in my opinion, how many people showed up today, right? Like there's, I think, around 2,000 people, competitors just here to play, not including all of the people that came in that aren't here to compete and are just here for side events and other things. Like those numbers are insane, in my opinion. And it's kind of crazy just how big this Disney community is for this game, Disney Lorcana.
Yeah, I agree, and so soon after release. I mean, I know you, like us, have been following this game since its initial announcement way back in E23. And, to see the game go from, nothing, just an announcement,
yeah,
to what it is now is just amazing. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It really speaks to the love that people have.
Huh. Is it because I have that deafen thing on, or that's not it, right?
Now I can hear you both. Oh, you have to turn that off.
They're on our end. Okay.
Whatever you just did, I can hear a real echo now. Is that it?
Okay. That might have been, I was trying to click on different things.
I'm just going to shut up a minute while they sort it.
Up there for our neighbors up in the north. Can't wait for Lorcana to be up there. So plenty of opportunities left to play if you're interested in competing in Disney Lorcana Challenge. And even if, as you mentioned, there are people here who aren't playing in the challenges that are here for the side events and just to meet people. So, I would say if you love Lorcana and you love the Lorcana community, even if you don't have the opportunity to play in a challenge itself, or maybe, hyper competitive play isn't your thing, come on out to the challenge, play in the side events, meet the team, meet the other folks. It's just a great atmosphere all around.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I really love about this event is there's the competition that's going on, but there's also like you don't have to be a competitor to come to one of these events and enjoy them. Like you mentioned, there's all kinds of really fun side events, including starter deck challenges and draft, and I think they're sealed as well, and then other constructed events if you don't get the record you'd like to get, even if you are a competitor. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Disney Lorcana and these challenges, is that even if you're not a competitor and you don't want to go through the rounds and try to make it to the top cut, there's plenty of other stuff that you can do here.
Yeah, including meeting people. I mentioned the Ravensburger team as well being here. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about these events, getting to meet and see the people behind the game. Ryan Miller is here at this event, and it's wonderful seeing fans of the game that he helped create, interacting with him, getting cards signed. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, it was actually really funny. Yesterday, I was walking around the venue and literally ran right into Ryan, and he was like, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" And then he told me about something that was pretty cool. He told me about there was a pack battle format that he was coming up with. I know we saw something like that for side events for Lille. They're doing one, and then he said he has some stuff to do. But as you guys can see, we talked about all the events that are going on. We went through the North American ones. We're in Atlanta now, have Chicago next. It's completely sold out. Fort Worth, only a couple tickets left. Like I said, I recommend you go and get those, with Toronto, Las Vegas, and Seattle. That's 6 total. There's 4 that are going to be over in Europe. The Lille tournament is this weekend as well. So if you guys wanted to, tomorrow you can catch their day 2 on twitch.tv/DisneyLorcanaEU, I believe. So be sure to check that out. It'll be in the morning because they're starting theirs a bit before ours. But it's really awesome to see just how many of these events there are, and they're all over the globe.
Yeah, I mean, you're highlighting something I think is really amazing about this game. This is a global game. And I know that there are a lot of countries that are still waiting for Lorcana to be released there, but the fandom for this Disney game spans continents. And it's so neat to think that we're here casting this game with American players at the same time as there are people in Europe enjoying this same game. And it really makes you feel like part of a global community.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things, is this isn't just something that's happening in North America. It is really a global celebration, I feel like, of this game. I remember a year and a half ago when the game first got released, it feels like we were I was dreaming of these sort of things happening and having a celebration of the game and having all the people gather together. I feel like there wasn't anything like that had happened except for the release back in August. And so I know that I especially have been looking forward to this, and it's awesome to know that we're not just celebrating over here in North America. There's also people over in Europe that are celebrating as well. And we basically have the entire year to celebrate, because these events are happening from right now all the way to September and October in both countries? Areas?
Yeah. Areas, countries, regions.
Regions, there you go. That's what I'm looking for.
Region's a good word. No, that's great. So yeah, but just super excited to be part of this very. I say first, but Lille beat us by a few hours.
Yeah, they technically beat us by a few hours. I wanted to take claim of the first ever Disney Lorcana challenge, but they have to.
First North American or first asterisk. I don't know.
Yeah, first with an asterisk. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, but now that we've talked about the locations, let's talk about the format today. This is really it's going to be a great event today. There are 9 rounds, so it's going to be a long day. But for those of you who've been to a lot of TCG tournaments, we're going to do a different format today. It's going to be 2-game matches with a 45-minute time limit. The way this works is you're ranked based on your total number of points at the end of the day. If you win a game, you gain 3 points. So in a 2-game match, you can win 3 points if you win game 1. If you win game 2, you can win an additional 3 points, and then a bonus point for winning both games. So you can go into a match and earn 3 for a game win, or 7 for winning both games in a match. So the real focus here is on winning the maximum number of games that you can.
Yeah, it's something that's a little bit different. I know people are used to maybe a best of 1 or best of 3 format, and I actually really like this 2-game format because you're not too concerned really with what your opponent's doing or how your opponent's performing. It's really more about how well you're doing and how well you're performing. You're just trying to get those game wins. There aren't every single game matters.
Every game
in this format. Every single game you can win is going to bring you points. It doesn't matter if you end up splitting the match match or if you end up taking the entire match. So I think that's really cool. It also manages to pair people together at pretty even levels. If you start at 1-1 or you start at 0-2, you're going to be paired against other people with similar records, and it tends to put people together of similar skill level faster than some of the other ones. So I think that's really cool too, to get you playing against similar skill levels. But for the people that do really well during day one, if you make top 64 in this 2,048 player tournament, you will be able to go on to day two, and day two will actually go to best of 3 single elimination, because at the end of the day you have to have a winner. You can't move on with split matches. We have to be able to push on to top 32, top 16, and so on. And those will be 70-minute time limit until quarterfinals, and then the quarterfinals will be untimed, so the players have all the time that they need in order to play the best Disney Lorcana that they can.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they do make the top cut, what are people playing for? So fantastic prizes that I'm super excited to talk about. These are beautiful cards. So first off, for anybody who participates in the tournament, you have the chance to earn this Dragonfire. It's beautiful art by Luis Huerta. This is taking the existing Dragonfire art and expanding it to a whole card, and seeing what Luis did with this palette is just fantastic. Likewise, Milika Selikovic's Let It Go from set 1 is expanded to a full border for those that place in the top 128. Now, Brandon, there's something, we say top 128, but really, what are we talking about?
So top 28 is kind of like a performance card. It's something that I actually really like that Disney Lorcana has done, or Ravensburger has done in this case. You don't have to get, it's not just top 128 and further. If you have the same points at the end of day one as the number 128th placed player, you will also get the Let It Go promo, and everybody with the same number of points will get those promo cards. And so I think that's really cool. I've heard it referenced as a performance promo, which I really like. You know, it's something to shoot for. Even after maybe you're at a record where you don't make top 64, there's still something that you can play for. And I mean, they're just gorgeous. Like, they are beautiful. When this got revealed on the Lorecast a couple months ago, my jaw dropped. I think they're super special cards. I especially love the Dragonfire because it was one of the very first cards outside of the D23.
And the very first action we saw.
Yeah, that we ever saw and was revealed. So it brings back a lot of memories, very nostalgic. I think it's a perfect promo card for everyone. And by the way, these are cumulative. So if you, just for participating, you have to play 3 rounds, you'll get the Dragonfire. And then if you manage to make 128, you'll get to Let It Go. And then on top of that, if you manage to make day 2, you'll get this absolutely beautiful Cinderella Stout-Hearted promo as well for top 64. So why don't you tell them a little bit more about Cinderella Stout-Hearted and the artist behind that card?
I mean, I don't know what to say about this card. It speaks for itself. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. This is brand new art by Alice Pizzoni, an experienced Lorcana artist who's done many cards that you know and love. And here she's gotten to bring to life Cinderella Stout-Hearted in a way that we haven't seen before. So this is unique to Lorcana Challengers right now. And I'm very, very excited to see this card in person when I eventually do, because it's just fantastic.
Yeah, something that I really like is that these cards are playable also. Mm-hmm. Like the Let It Go and the Cinderella Stout-Hearted both see plenty of play even currently in the set 3 format that we're playing in right now, and can potentially see play in future formats like set 4 where there's Slow's Return. So that's really exciting. But there's even more prizes past that, which I think is really cool. We have the top 32.
Here it is.
My favorite promo out of this entire day, Rapunzel Gifted with Healing. Talk about playable cards. She's been played since set 1, still played a lot today, and absolutely beautiful art by Grace Tran. And I mean, this is stunning. Like, my jaw literally dropped when I saw this during the Lorecast. And so people who managed to make top 32 on day 2 will get the Rapunzel, and then top 16, they'll also get a Rapunzel playmat that is foil, and probably what a lot of the players are actually playing for today. If you make top 16, you'll get an invitation to the North American Championship that will happen, I believe, around the holiday season. And Liam, there's something pretty special if you get it past that and go to the top 8.
My goodness, there is, and we don't even know what top 8 looks like yet. There's a card that is yet to be revealed. We'll reveal it tomorrow, I think. Yeah, on stream. So come back and look for this. But it is a brand new serialized Mickey Brave Little Tailor, brand new art, and we're super excited to see what that looks like. It being serialized is super cool to me. That means that any card that's given out, you can trace to the tournament it was won at, the player who won it. So I'm really excited to see what these look like. I'm
Yeah,
really excited.
I think these are going to be really awesome collector's items. Like you said, it being serialized is really cool because you'll be able to track like where the card went, exactly where it came from, and so those will be for all of the Disney Lorcana challenges. And that pricing changes based on attendance. So here in Atlanta, it extends to top 8 because we have more than 1,025 players. In Chicago, I believe Chicago only has 1,024 players. So
That's right.
I believe that those Mickeys are going to be even rarer over there and only be given out to top 4. So definitely something worth playing for. And I cannot wait to see what they look like tomorrow when we reveal it.
I agree. Now, speaking of prizing, we mentioned early on that you can come to these Lorcana challenges and not play in the main event, or maybe play in the main event and then do something else, because there are side events here. There's a way to earn prize tickets because there's other things available for players here.
Before we get to that, though, I do want to cover top 4 and what the winners managed to get on this.
This is the most important part.
Some really awesome stuff. If you make it into top 4, you're going to get 2 boxes of Ursula's Return, the most recent Disney Lorcana set to come out, and you'll get 100 prize tickets, which we're going to go over in a second. So all the awesome stuff that you can get on the prize wall. Top 2, that basically gets doubled. You get 2 more boxes of Ursula's Return and 100 more prize tickets. And then, of course, if you make it all the way to the championship, you get this beautiful Disney Lorcana Challenge trophy, and you get a complete foil set of the current set being played here into the Inklands, including all of the enchanted cards. That sounds like a collector's dream.
I know. Man, I got so excited about the Mickey, I almost forgot about this. And you're right. And as Brandon said, this is cumulative. So just think about what the champion's earning all the way down the line. A lot of prizes to be won. And gosh, I can't wait to see what that trophy looks like in real life when it gets handed out tomorrow.
Me neither. Just based on the image that we see here on screen, it looks really cool. I love the little lore icon. It's been iconic since day one. I love that it has the little twirls happening there. And like you said, there's just a ton that the championship is going to go home with the trophy. Total of 4 boxes of Ursula's Return, 200 prize tickets, the golden Mickey, and more, everything we just went over. But we keep talking about these prize tickets.
I know. I tried to jump ahead. Let's go to the prize wall now.
Yeah, the prizes, I think, we mentioned how awesome it was that you have things you can play for if you drop out of the tournament, or even if you don't compete in the main tournament either. I don't know about you, Liam. I have been begging Ravensburger to make merch for the longest time. I can't tell you how excited I am that they have a Disney Lorcana Challenge shirt here and a hat. I kind of wish they had a bucket hat as well, but
next challenge,
hopefully.
Yeah.
Next challenge, hopefully. But there's also some really cool stuff. You see some very familiar art here. Why don't you tell everyone what the other prizes are?
Yeah, so see, we have non-foil versions of the Rapunzel and the Cinderella that we showed you before. So maybe you like the art, but you can't earn the foil cards. You didn't have a chance to play in the challenge. There's a chance for you to earn these cards in a non-foil version, which I think is wonderful. The more of these beautiful cards that people have a chance to get their hands on, the better. And then we get to see in this amazing playmat what the artist can do, what Alice Pizzoni can do if given a bigger canvas. And we see here pieces of this art piece which were left off the card just because of space, but these pumpkins here, going back to Cinderella's original story. I love this playmat so much. I love it so much.
Yeah, I was very happy that you don't have to make top 16 or top 32 or bust when it comes to these cards, because when we first saw them revealed, my immediate reaction was, I have to have these. I want these so bad. And then I immediately found out that I would have to perform extremely well in these very large tournaments to ever get my hand on one. And I was so happy to see the art, but also so bummed at how difficult it might be to grab one. And so I thought it was really awesome that they still provide players a way to earn these very beautiful promos. They're non-foil, but I think that's okay. But as long as we have an opportunity to earn them, I think it's really awesome. And more than just what's on the screen, there's also other really cool stuff. I know that there's like packs that you can earn too using prize tickets and other really cool things. So, we're having a party here. There's a lot going on.
Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we said at the very start, so if you've got a challenge coming up in your area, if you want to compete, that's amazing. If you don't want to compete and you just want to come out, play side events, meet the Ravensburger team, meet us if we're there, and meet the Lorcana community, I think it's absolutely wonderful. So definitely take a look if you've got one in your area.
Yeah, so that's basically everything that's happening here at the Disney Lorcana Challenge. Very shortly, though, I know the audience, you're here to watch some gameplay. We are very excited to be casting the first round of the Disney Lorcana Challenge. I mean, these players have a ton of rounds to go through. It's going to be a really long day for any of the people here. Roughly only the top 3% make it into that top 64 out of the 2,000 people that are actually here. So no matter who's playing, it's going to take a lot of skill. Players are going to have to be on their absolute best, and they're probably going to need a little bit of luck too.
Of course, as with any TCG. But absolutely, we can't wait to bring this to you. I will say too, like these players, have been planning on coming to this event for months. They've been practicing, they've been preparing, and so we're going to see some top tier gameplay, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. Are there any decks that you're excited to look forward to? Like anything that might, I don't know. What would you bring if you were here?
Oh man, I mean, I think those that know me know that I have a hard time getting away from Amethyst Emerald. It's my favorite deck. I love it. I'm excited to see that perform today here. I think it'll do well. There's other decks I'm looking forward to seeing, but what I will say is at events like this, what I really love seeing are some of those decks that you don't expect coming at you sideways. Everybody has an idea of the decks that are popular and the decks that do well and are consistent, but sometimes players come in with things that nobody expected, and they rise to the top with something completely off meta. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very stoked to get into this round one of the Disney Lorcana Challenge. I can't wait to see what the other players are bringing to the table. I agree with you. I kind of hope we see something spicy. I hope we see something off meta, something that people have been cooking. They've had a couple weeks to put stuff together because we've moved on from an Inklands into Ursula's Return over this past week or two, and so I know a lot of players have been playing with the new cards, but I know that the people that have been excited to come here have been testing with this. So with that being said, I think we can move on into round one.
Let's do it.
All right. It looks like we have Aaron Jepkema and Luna Eason in their round one. It looks like they're going through their altering phase right now. And I'm not sure what each player is playing yet. And they're going to roll to see who goes first.
Yeah, one thing we didn't mention initially that's important to mention here is in this 2-game format, each player gets a chance to go first and draw first. So if you're watching Lorcana for the first time, the player who goes first doesn't draw a card. You get the advantage of playing cards first. That means you get to quest first, and it gives you a little bit of an edge. So to make up for that, the second player who goes gets to draw a card, getting that extra card where the first player doesn't. In the 2-game format, each player has a chance to go first and draw first. So what they're doing is the player who gets the high roll here gets to decide generally whether they want to be the first player or the second player in the first game.
Yeah, and there's a real advantage to both, depending on which deck you're trying to bring. Maybe you want to surprise your opponent going first with a really aggressive deck that comes out fast and quests really quickly. Maybe you're playing a more control deck and you're okay with taking the brakes off a little bit so that you can alter correctly in game two. So that's one of the things I'm really interested in seeing what players decide today and tomorrow. Well, I guess tomorrow was best of 3, but so today, how many times people decide just to go first when they win the die roll in game 1 versus going first in game 2. If it were me, I'm probably going first in game 1 most of the time. I like to come out with a lot of steam, a lot of heat, put them on the back foot, make them respond to me. So I'm eager to see if the other players here agree with me on that.
I think I'm the same way, Brandon. I think I would like to go into game 1 and have the edge when I don't know what my opponent's playing and have more information in game 2. But there is an advantage to winning game 2 over game 1, and that is in this format, game 2 is a tiebreaker. And so if you're going to win one of the games in a pairing, winning the second game is the better one to win.
Yeah, so we're getting a good look at the players' hands right now so we can see what ink combinations they're playing. Aaron seems to be playing an Amber Steel list while Luna is playing a Ruby Sapphire. Two very recognizable ink pairings today. I'm very surprised to see Luna ink that Hiram Flaversham there on turn 1. That's a very key card going into playing Ruby Sapphire because it's their primary draw engine, but she of course opens with a Develop Your Brain, very standard turn 1. And we even see the Popsicle here on turn 2. That I don't think it gets more Ruby Sapphire than this.
No, that's exactly what this deck wants to be doing. The perfect 2 openers. You have the Popsicle on the table as Flavisham food on turn 4, if that line's available.
Yeah, I can see that Aaron has a aerial in hand. I know that he's looking forward to playing that. Probably searching for, if I had to guess, a whole new world. I very expected play here by Aaron, playing Bare Necessities. Sapphire wants to ramp. They want to get as much ink into their inkwell as possible. And you can see right here, Aaron is deciding to get rid of this fishbone quill in Luna's hand using Bare Necessities, because Bare Necessities allows you to look at your opponent's hand and force them to discard any non-character card. And Fishbone Quill, if Hiram Flabbersham is an important card in Ruby Sapphire, Fishbone Quill is the second most important card. It's their way that they can get ahead of you in ink, start playing bigger, better characters than you can. So very good play on Aaron's part.
And that's exactly what Bare Necessities is there for. Really, looking at Luna's hand, she had her almost perfect first 4 turns. The Fishbone Quill, no doubt, is what she wanted to play on turn 3 to get the ramp going, and losing that hurts a little bit.
Yeah, we see another pretty stereotypical Ruby Sapphire response here, playing Queen of Hearts. Aaron decided to quest with the Robin Hood to gain a little bit of a lore lead, and that opened up the Robin Hood to be challenged by Queen of Hearts, which is a pretty key card in Ruby Sapphire to slow down the opponent in the early game. Ruby Sapphire struggles a little bit to keep control of the board there in the early game, but we see Aaron playing an Aerial Spectacular Singer after inking an Aerial Spectacular Singer, and it looked like he may have missed, actually, in not finding a card. Aerial allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You can pick a song from one of those cards and put it into your hand.
It's interesting, too. That miss is probably the first time that this deck hasn't played exactly as he wants it to play. What I love about this match so far is we're really seeing what both these decks are designed to do, and not getting a song off the Aerial is a bit of a bummer for Aaron, but I'm sure he'll recover just fine.
Yeah, otherwise things I'd say are going relatively slow. Luna missed the ramp that she would like to be hitting, either with a 1 jump ahead or with a Fishbone Quill. So she's playing a Grammatala here. Grammatala lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You can choose one, put it in your hand, and then put the other one on the bottom of your deck. It's basically develop your brain on a body, but it's a good development because it puts a character on board. She has a 3/3 stat line, so if Aaron decides to sing with one of these aerials, then Luna can respond by challenging the aerial with Grammatala and banishing the aerial, getting it off the board, which is really good because aerial is one of the stronger cards that Aaron has to play, only being a 3-cost card, but also having Singer 5, being able to sing really strong cards like Grab Your Sword and A Whole New World that I'm sure Aaron's digging for currently.
Yeah, so I want to take a moment to talk about what each of the decks is trying to do, too, because they're both trying to ramp to a degree, but in a different way. Obviously, in any card game, the more resources you have, the better. What Luna's trying to do is more of the traditional ramp that we see, and to put more ink in the inkwell to get to the end game where more of her end game cards are available, and she can get to her win condition. So cards like Fishbone Quill are great. She would have liked to see that on turn 3 to build up her resources, but really we're progressing to an end game where she has all of her end game cards available. Perhaps it's a Lucky Dime or a Tamatoa. What Aaron's trying to do, and Steel Song is typically trying to do, is to fill the board with cards that can sing songs. And so singing songs in Lorcana is a way to allow you to play cards without using your ink. And so your characters can sing those cards. And in theory, Aaron's able to refill his hand, play cards out from his hand using all of his characters on the board, and then refill his hand again. And so Aaron really wants to get a lot of singers on the board, and that's what we should see him doing here throughout the next few turns.
Yeah, especially in this matchup when you have a Steel Song versus a Ruby Sapphire deck. Ruby Sapphire is going to beat you in the late game. There's just no doubt about that. They have so many tools with cards like Be Prepared. We just saw Maui being played. Also having cards like Madame Medusa to banish characters with 3 strength or lower. They have a lot of tools to keep your board state under control, and so the Amber Steel player really needs to come out fast. I really like this play by Aaron, basically clearing Luna's board, singing with those aerials so that he can build a wider board and hopefully get some questing in before Luna gets to that 7 ink mark, which she is very close to currently.
Yeah, Luna here responding with Madame Medusa, forcing Aaron to banish one of his aerials.
Yeah, we can expect the Madame Medusa coming in on 6 ink, and this is where things get kind of sketchy for Aaron because he knows that Luna can potentially ink another card next turn to 7 ink, and then you're in Be Prepared territory. And for any of you at home that don't know, Be Prepared is a card. It's a song that says you can banish all characters in play, or you just do banish all characters in play. I will note, so this is Aaron deciding to sing Whole New World, trying to refill his hand after inking a Cinderella Stout-Hearted. He's got all of his ink still ready to exert and use to play stuff on board. That's the third Hiram Flaversham that we've seen from Luna. 2 have gone into the inkwell, and that one was just discarded. So Luna might be struggling to draw cards. Obviously, she just drew 7 off of a Whole New World, so she's a little bit refilled. But if Aaron can force her to use a lot of the answers in her hand, and she misses a couple of the cards that she's looking for to dig, Aaron's setting himself up very nicely right now, dropping 2 Sleepy Flutes, because there's only one card in Ruby Sapphire that can get rid of these Sleepy Flutes. And for those of you at home, Sleepy Flute allows you to exert them when a song is played and you gain a lore. So it's a way to gain lore outside of having characters on board.
Yeah, so what we've learned now about Aaron's deck is exactly what Steel Song build that he has. There's various ways to build this deck with Lanterns, with Pride Lands. I think Sleepy's Flute is probably the most popular. It's kind of the original build. But yes, it's a way to gain lore outside of questing. And so this is one of Aaron's win conditions in this deck, is to persistently sing songs, to play songs from his hand if he has enough ink, and then gain lore from both Sleepy's Flutes. And he has to worry less about board control in that instance.
Yeah, this is actually quite the unfavored matchup for an Amber Steel player going into Ruby Sapphire for the reasons we've mentioned earlier. But I think if there's any Amber Sapphire deck that does have a chance into such a control-heavy Ruby Sapphire deck, it is the one that's running Sleepy's Flutes, because you have ways to gain lore outside of your characters on board. And like I mentioned earlier, Ruby is just so good at keeping the opponent's board cleared. They have a lot of options, and so if you have a way to progress your win condition outside of relying on characters on board, I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that Luna's thinking about here, those characters down there, we have the Queen and we have Ariel who can sing 5-cost songs. Anything that can sing 5-cost songs is able to sing a Whole New World, leaving Aaron with resources available to play songs immediately after drawing new cards. And so removing those 5-cost singers is something that Luna's very interested in doing with either a Be Prepared or some targeted removal, so that line isn't available to Aaron. Allowing Aaron to only play 1 or 2 songs from his hand per turn definitely slows Aaron down, but allowing him to refill his hand with a Whole New World using a singer, and then having resources available to play things to the board is something that Luna wants to prevent him from doing.
Exactly, and we see Luna take action here, challenging the Ariel with Madame Mim to take out one of those characters that can sing those important 5-cost songs like you mentioned. We also saw another card Luna just played, Fishbone Quill, which we mentioned earlier, which is definitely something I don't think Aaron would like to see. The reason that this matchup can be so difficult is because when you play a Whole New World as the Amber Steel player, you're refilling your opponent's hand, which already is kind of sketchy. It's great because you can usually sing it, and then you can play a bunch of stuff out of your hand with all the ink that you save by singing the card. But for Ruby Sapphire players, you're just giving them an entire hand that they can now continue to ink with, especially when they have Fishbone Quill, because Fishbone Quill allows you to exert the card, and then you can ink any card from your hand, and you don't even have to show it. So Luna can be inking cards that are inkable, she can be inking cards that are uninkable, but the point is she can ink multiple times a turn and start really building up that inkwell so that she can start dropping her Tamatoas, she can start playing her Lucky Dimes, and getting a lot of lore off of those, and we see Aaron respond to this with the Benja.
No, that's a fantastic point, Brandon. The Fishbone Quill Whole New World combo are so powerful. There are decks kind of built around that combo, drawing new cards, allowing you to ink 2 cards per turn, and then building up that resource pool where you can do some massive combos in the late game.
Yeah, I'm eager to see if Aaron is able to keep up the tempo that he's been able to have. He hasn't been able to gain as much lore as I feel like he wishes he would have, and we're getting to that critical mass point with Ruby Sapphire where Luna's going to start to have a lot of options. She already has 8 ink in the inkwell. Luckily for Aaron, that Fishbone Quill is in the discard now due to the Benja, so she can still only ink once per turn. But she can potentially ink and play a Maleficent Dragon now, which is, I think, the most expensive card that I've seen run in these Ruby Sapphire decks. And so I think Aaron's going to have to really put the gas on if he wants to stay ahead. We see him deciding to get rid of the Madame Medusa so that he can draw a card off of the Let It Go. and make it so that Madame Medusa can't challenge any of the characters that Aaron tries to exert, because he needs all of the lore that he can now.
And also gain 2 lore. If Aaron is not playing a song a turn here, he's going to feel like he's falling behind a little bit. With those flutes on the board and a lot of songs in this deck, it's essentially a clock, where if he can play 1 song a turn in this very song-heavy deck, he can close out this game. So you want to play a song every turn that you can.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm a little surprised here to see him spin 2 songs, or play 2 songs, to get rid of both the Madame Medusa and the Grammatala, and then only sing with the Queen and not quest with his characters. There's definitely cards that he can be scared of, like Scar, Vicious Cheater, I believe, can come down, and he has Rush, and every time he banishes a card, he re-readies himself. So you can basically clear an entire board just with Scar if Scar comes down. And Ruby has Maui, which also has Rush and Reckless, so they can challenge on the same turn. But as we mentioned before, Aaron's got to go fast. He's putting Luna on a clock with the Sleepy Flutes, and he wants to be playing songs every turn that he can. And we do see the dragon come down and get rid of the Queen.
And again, that takes that 5-cost singer off the board. So if Aaron was playing 2 songs last turn, let's say in anticipation for a whole new world, singing it with this 5-cost singer, that line's not available now without another card hitting the board.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see a Shift Queen come down that he was holding to sing a song. We do see him play another Let the Storm Rage On and deal 2 damage to... I'm blanking. Maleficent Dragon,
yes.
Sorry. And so that he can exert the Sleepy Flutes and add a little bit more lore as well, going up to 7. And he still has the rest of his ink also, because he used Benja to sing Let the Storm Rage On. Looks like he only has 2 or 3 cards in hand, though, so he might be getting kind of low.
Oh, and there we go. Speaking of 5-cost singers, here's one.
Okay,
and
yes.
another.
2 5-cost singers. So we do see the Queen Shift and the Robin Hood come down. I like this play because Robin Hood is susceptible to a Madame Medusa. He has 3 strength, and Madame Medusa can banish characters with 3 strength or less. So he's not the most reliable singer in Amber Steel against the Ruby Sapphire matchup, but the Queen, on the other hand, is a pretty reliable one if you're trying to sing, because she has 4 strength. She's a little bit harder to banish. But of course, Aaron decides to quest with the Queen, it looks like, and gain that 2 lore, putting Luna on the clock, forcing her to be a little bit more reactive. I think he's hoping that she challenges the Queen with the Maleficent Dragon that will both banish the Maleficent Dragon and the Queen as well, sort of clearing up her board, and hopefully Aaron has more cards that he can play in response.
Yeah, no, well said. I also, looking at Luna's board, she's not out of this game. Aaron does have a lead. There's plenty of options available. I think what Luna's really hoping for here, as you pointed out, Brandon, we've lost a lot of Flavershims. That's really the card draw engine in this deck. So Luna hoping into that 4th one here to allow her to look for answers. Be Prepared would be a welcome sight here, allowing her to clear the board and get rid of those pesky singers. Because the real danger here, not only is it the lore that these characters can gain, but if Aaron is in a pinch, he can always hold New World by singing it with one of those 5-cost characters, leaving 2 singers on the board to then immediately play other cards, perhaps at bare necessities to take a look at Luna's hand immediately after the Whole New World. So lots of lines available to Aaron with these singers on the board. Be Prepared would be a welcome sight for the Ruby deck here, I think.
Yeah, Ruby loves their Be Prepared because it saves them when they're in a pinch like this. I like the plays that Aaron's been doing, keeping Luna, forcing her to respond, basically. And like you said, this definitely is not game over for Luna. I'm glad you bring up the Hyrams, though, because, like you said, it's the draw engine of the deck, and having 3 of them gone already can be rough. We saw a couple Develop Your Brains. We saw a couple Grammatalas let you dig a little bit deeper into the deck. But without a consistent way to continue to draw cards, it's going to be difficult to respond to Aaron and his Steel Song
There's the Be Prepared
deck. And there we go. We talk about the Be Prepared. I do like the Lucky Dime being played. Luna looks like she used Lucky Dime to gain 2 lore before playing Be Prepared, which you love to see. And now that Lucky Dime's on board, Aaron could potentially have a Benja to get rid of it, but Lucky Dime can be extremely explosive in a Ruby Sapphire deck because of the cards like Belle and Tamatoa that they can play. Why don't you explain why those cards are a threat?
Lucky Dime is a card, for those unfamiliar with the game, where you exert 2 ink and exert Lucky Dime to gain lore equal to the lore of a chosen character on your side of the board. So anything with high lore allows you to do a couple things. One, you gain double lore off that character because if it can quest, but also you can gain lore the turn a character comes into play. So when you have high lore characters, like perhaps Belle, which can have 5 lore if you have 10 ink on the board, or a Tamatoa, which gains lore depending on the number of items that you have in play, you can play a character, immediately gain the lore from that character, and like you said, Brandon, this can lead to some incredibly explosive turns. I've seen Ruby Sapphire decks go from 5 to 20 lore in 2 turns, and so that's an endgame that's a scenario that's available to Luna here.
Yeah, they can be extremely explosive, and one thing that I noticed is it looks like Erin has run out of cards. It looks like Luna still has some cards in her hand, so she's setting herself up to be in a really great spot. This is exactly where Ruby Sapphire likes to be. This is where you've gained a little bit. You've gained back board control, you have a bunch of ink in your inkwell, and you're able to keep your opponent at bay. And so she has these Mana Medusas that she continues to play. We see the Lady Tremaine forcing Erin to choose a card to banish, and here we see Luna using the Lucky Dime to gain an extra 2 lore from the Lady Tremaine that's not dry yet, so she can't quest, but with the Lucky Dime, you can still gain that 2 lore off of her in 1 turn, and she's starting to build lore very quickly, going from 0 lore to, I believe it was 1, 2, 3, 4, like 9 lore currently. So we do see Erin pull a song off the top, which I think is what he's looking for right now. 3 Sleepy Flutes are on board, and so every song that he can play, whether it actually does anything or not, is 3 lore that he can gain, and at 12 lore, you're getting a little bit close to 20 at that point.
That's true, and here we see Luna's deck exploding a little bit as these end game characters are available. Anything that Luna can drop onto the board with 2 lore or more feels very good, able to gain that lore immediately with the Lucky Dime. You know, at this point, Erin has, a couple outs. I think he's looking for a whole new world to be able to refill his hand, get a song per turn, and having that 5-cost singer on the board is definitely helpful. There he is. He found it with the aerial. That's exactly what I wanted, or what he wanted in this scenario. And if that aerial can stay around until next turn, it can sing a whole new world, leaving him ink available to play anything that he draws.
Yeah, that's the tricky part with playing against Ruby. Having to keep a character around can be easier said than done. We do see a Tamatoa come down, though, and that's going to be another item that Luna can grab from her discard and play if she wants to. She already has 3 items out on board, and Tamatoa gains an extra lore for every item on board. And so with that, she has exactly enough lore to use the Lucky Dime, like we mentioned before, to quest with Tamatoa, or I guess gain lore from Tamatoa, not quest from Tamatoa, and quest with the rest of her characters to get up to 20.
Yeah, there's a shiny finish.
A very shiny finish. I love that. Tamatoa coming in. Victory on round 1. I honestly am a little bit surprised. I know it was a unfavorable matchup for Amber Steel, but even when Luna was able to get rid, or when Luna had to get rid of the 3 Hyrums, putting 2 in the inkwell and then 1 in the discard, she did a really great job of playing her Gramatalas, playing the Popsicles, Develop Your Brains, more cards to just continue to keep cards in her hand so that she could continue to respond to Erin. And Erin was getting close to that critical point where you're getting close enough to 20 that all you need is a song to play, and then you can exert all your Sleepy Flutes and get there by the skin of your teeth. And Luna was able to catch up fast enough so that she could take the game in 2 or 3 turns.
Mm-hmm. Very patiently played out the game. You lost the Fishbone Quill, and that wasn't ideal, but played that deck perfectly. And again, what better way than to end the game than having Tamatoa win with a shiny Lucky Dime?
Exactly.
And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this game. It's the Disney flavor. It's getting to play these characters that we know and love and come into these scenarios where you have Tamatoa using a shiny object to win the game over an opponent. So I love it.
Of course, that was only game number 1. We still have another game to get to. I believe Luna went first in the last game, so I'm expecting Erin to go first on this one. And so, I think we can go ahead and get on to that game.
I think we're going to pass it off.
Okay, it looks like they maybe have just altered, or Luna is currently altering her hand as Erin is shuffling up. I'm assuming he's already altered and drawn his cards, which is why he's shuffling. Liam, if you're Erin here, what are you looking for? If you get to go first, you know some of the cards that Luna's playing. What do you think is going through Erin's mind right now?
Go fast.
Yeah.
Go fast. That's what I think. You got to go fast. Again, Erin, The thing about these two decks is what Aaron's trying to do, as we pointed out first game, is get a lot of characters on the board that can sing a lot of cards per turn. The problem playing against this control deck is in the end game, Luna has so many answers available that she can really keep that board state under control. So you want to get your engine going with your singers and your whole new worlds as early as possible so that you can get that going. If you wait too long, it's probably almost insurmountable.
Yeah, I think now that we know that Aaron is playing a Sleepy's Flute version of Steel Song, I think you nailed it on the head. You want to get a bunch of characters out before Be Prepared as you can, quest with them as efficiently as you can, not giving Luna as many favorable trades as possible, and then hope that you can draw into those Sleepy Flutes so that you can start playing songs towards the end of the game once Luna does start playing the Be Prepareds, the Mauis, the Scars, the Madame Medusas, everything that she has available to her, and you can win out the game with the Sleepy's Flute in the end. Looks like a relatively slow start here. We see the very typical Ruby Sapphire opening with Popsicle, and we just see Aaron going a little bit wide, playing both the Cinderella and the Robin Hood. He decided not to quest with the Cinderella, knowing that Luna plays those Queen of Hearts that we saw in Game 1, which I think was very smart of him.
Yeah, and so, as you pointed out, Brandon, this is the typical opening for Ruby Sapphire. This is exactly what the deck wants to do. Popsicle on turn 1, get that on the board. Ramp with 1 jump ahead, allowing you to put the top card of your inkwell, or of your deck, into your inkwell face down. So now Luna's 1 ink ahead in terms of resource accumulation, exactly where she wants to be.
Yeah, and this is especially a good place to be on the draw, I think, as well, for Luna. When you're playing 1 jump ahead, now you are ahead in ink instead of your opponent. Part of the benefit of going first is being able to ink first and being able to use more cards. And we see Luna giving out her hand for the Bare Necessities being played, and there's quite a few options to pick from.
Yeah, I will point out, Brandon, you called it with the Queen. Aaron choosing not to quest with that Queen available, and Luna had that line available to play. So heads up play by Aaron there, looking out for that aggressive card.
Yeah, I also really like this pick coming out of Luna's hand, the McDuck Mansion, because we talk about Be Prepared. We saw Be Prepared in Luna's hand, but McDuck Mansion has 9 willpower, and that can be really difficult for Amber Steel to get rid of, especially if they don't have access to the Queen, the 5-drop Queen that can boost one of your other character's strengths, so you can challenge with a bunch into that. So I like seeing that discarded. You know that the Be Prepared's in hand now. Maybe Aaron has a whole new world that he's planning to play soon, and he says, I don't really need to care too much about the Be Prepared. I can get rid of that. I just don't want Luna playing the McDuck Mansion right before I play a whole new world.
Yeah, so it's also an inkable card that he got rid of.
Yeah.
As opposed to Be Prepared, which was an option, but it's an uninkable card. So I forget what exactly was in Luna's hand, but sometimes when you're looking at your opponent's hand, that's something you're thinking about is the curve and getting rid of those cards that they're probably going to ink on their next couple turns and putting them in a bit of a pinch when it comes to their resources.
Yeah, one thing that I will point out is Luna is she's having much better success ramping this game as she was last game. We saw her play the 1 jump ahead on turn 2, and now she played How Far I'll Go last turn, and who knows how far she'll go, because she just continues to ramp and ramp and ramp, even though going second, already having more ink in her inkwell than Aaron does. And we see a Madame Medusa come out on turn 3. Turn 3 or turn 4 at this point, getting rid of that Robin Hood, which may have been Aaron's only play. It looks like he probably didn't have a whole new world in hand. I imagine if he did, he would have sang it with the Robin Hood there to get rid of some of the cards in Luna's hand. So sort of unfortunate for him that Luna had the Madame Medusa, but here we are at a point where Luna's already very ahead in an ink advantage, and I think this is where you really start to see Ruby Sapphire do its thing.
Yeah, it's getting to that critical turn 7 point, right? Not only is Be Prepared available, but Scar's available, and there's a number of other options there near the end game. But this is really hitting the point of the game where Luna's comfortable, and even now, Aaron playing a whole new world into looking at 8 ink across the board, 7 or 8 ink. It's a lot less palatable.
Yeah, I mean, whole new world. It's bittersweet sometimes. It can be really great when it's great, and then sometimes it's just not good enough, especially when you don't have a character you can sing with, because that's half of the reason that the card's pretty good, right? You can sing it with a character, refill your hand, and then use all that ink that you didn't spend to play the card to refill your board state. And Aaron's just having a really tough time top decking right now, not really finding anything to come back from this game where Luna has just sort of taken over.
Yeah, and I don't have an eye on his hand. It looks like he may be top decking, which again is not where we want to be. The Rapunzel, I'm guessing, is one of the only plays he had, available now to sing some songs, but not much else. Here's the Tamatoa. This is kind of what you want to see on turn 8, allowing Luna to pull back an item from the discard pile and setting up the engine that Luna wants to have going at the end of the game.
Yeah, and the shiny crab likes his shiny items.
Oh, he loves
we see
it.
Tamatoa pull back a popsicle from the discard, and this is where Luna can just start recycling those popsicles, which is pretty on brand, I think. Didn't Nick Wilde recycle the juice for his popsicles?
Exactly,
yeah.
the popsicle
so
sticks is
doing
perfect.
it in Nick Wilde fashion, bringing the popsicles back, Luna will be able to play them again and continue to draw cards. Then she can banish the popsicle to heal something, or just put it into the discard so that she can pull it back when Tamatoa quests and play it again, because right now Aaron's characters don't have a ton of strength. Both Rapunzel and Cinderella have 1 strength on them, Rapunzel being banished by Maleficent Dragon here, and Aaron is just staring down a very scary board
Massive
in
board.
this state.
Yeah, this is where Ruby Sapphire starts to shine, as you suggested. The engine's going, almost all the pieces are there. Flaversham would really allow it to tick, but yeah, Luna's this game is played out exactly, I think, as she would want it to.
Yeah, to be honest, this is about how I expected the matchup to go. Again, with the Ruby Sapphire just being able to work with so much ink, playing really big characters, if the Amber Steel player can't get under them, it's very difficult to get over them. And now that Luna has all of these characters on board, she doesn't have a lucky dime yet, but that would just kind of be the next thing in this line of plays that I would expect from Ruby Sapphire. We do see the Hiram come down, banishing the popsicle so that she can draw 2 cards, and Hiram can continue to do that every time he quests. Aaron just has so much to work through here. I have a hard time seeing him coming back from this, and what does he need? Is there anything that he can do?
A miracle. A miracle. No, there's just not a lot of options for wide removal here. We did see the Grab Your Swords, which allows you to do some damage to your opponent's characters across the board, but you need a couple of those to really help here. So it's a tough spot to be in. This is a tough matchup for Steel Song, and yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't think Aaron ever found a whole new world. I don't think he ever found an Ariel, and his opening hand just wasn't the greatest. I think the only 5-cost character he could play was a Robin Hood, which of course she did. She played the 1 jump ahead, she played the how far I'll go, and then immediately, just in time, played that Madame Medusa to get rid of the maybe 1 out that Aaron had in that matchup. But Luna takes it 2-0 in round 1 with Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah, fantastic deck, a fantastic build, and a fantastic player. Well played by both. Just I think the luck was a little more on Luna's side this game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't think there's much more that I can say about that. I'm excited to throw this next game to you guys from Jonty and Rebecca. You guys get to see them for the first time casting from their homes. I'm excited to see what they have in store for us and for their round. So with that, we're going to take a small break, and then we're going to move on to the next match.